Greetings once again to you all. It is an honor to be with you again. So let us continue our flurry of information that works on you insides, works on your inside self, vibrationally. Little push here, little pull there, just to bring up things to be noticed. You know how it works. There's some things we wanted to straighten out. Not as if they're wrong, they're just crooked, a little misrepresented with the constitution of a mind. So let's speak the values of truth. Each individual has his own truth, and each self is its own truth. No matter what your truth is, Roxy is always going to be Roxy. You can define her, the vibration, the signature, as a truth in your own unique, unconditional way. No one's telling you anything how to perceive Roxy. But there is a standard, signature matched. You interpret it, but you never misrepresent it. There's a difference. Let's understand the soul first, so I can give you an example of where we're going tonight. Let's look at the soul. Many people were upset. A couple of Roxy's channeling. She's so full of shit, she doesn't even claim there's a soul. She says there's no soul. Well, soul wasn't introduced until you met humans. We have a social memory complex or a soul memory complex. But soul was identified for a purpose. See, the fractal was so lowly, so worthless, so not deserving of its own life, always having to pay grace and honor to the God above it for giving its life. It was not even worthy of being its own idea. It needs something more than itself to communicate with God. A soul. Before you were you, you were a soul. Really? Souls don't have awareness. You have awareness. Soul is a projection truth of you. However you create a soul has awareness, but it is your truth that is yours. So humans are not wrong in saying they have a soul, but they keep it outside of themselves. Misrepresented, crooked, if you will. See, there are truths, and those truths are signatures. They're equal matches. You don't argue if someone sees another color that's the same as your color. It doesn't matter if they're different colors. You are validating the signature. See, the color is speaking a truth. So let's look at the color red. When you all see red, you validate red. Because the signature is telling you it's red. But the ego can say, well, it's not red, it's kind of magenta, or something of that nature. Or you can call it the other end in yellow. You can have a truth and it is yours. But there's a unique quality you need to pay attention to. It's when you're egoing yourself in structure to make yourself feel different. Because you're not worthy to feel enough as a plain Jane. So you gave yourself a soul. You gave yourself your truth. I don't care what you say. That's what it is to be. Then you walk off in a huff. because your ego wants to feel good. Your ego bought into the soul idea, something before you. Well, there was no before you. Almost certainly not. You are, and there is no before I am. There's no previous to isness. There's no before God. Know that. You don't rank and file yourself through creation. Humans do that. The construct forgotten validates misrepresentations. And the relationship, the quality, tells you a truth. That it might be time to review something of a truth that you held in accountability for some medal of honor. Oh, please, Lord, take care of my soul. Always giving it up to another. Because the responsibility that you are now starting to fathom is immense. Your freedom needs no work. It needs no effort. It comes naturally, blissfully, joyfully. There was a student in class that wanted her name removed from the mass emails of Sly's class. But she still wanted to have the class assigned to her. But she wanted a BC, a blind copy. Roxy didn't know that term. She learned something today, exciting. And Roxy inquired as to why. She was afraid that something might happen. Some kind of fear might play out because her name is out there. Well, of course, Roxy told her no. She's not going to validate her fears. Either she gets the classes or she doesn't. She's not going to bend her life and say, you right, something might happen, and agree and give her exactly what she's seeking. It's the same thing in this representation. You feel this pain of your fear, and you don't want to let go of it because you're afraid to know that that's our higher truth, a more vibrationally aligned with creation. All signatures back and forth are complete, whole, truth, and embracing, giving, breeding and bleeding, breathing all of itself upon you. And you get to interpret it anyway. But you must remember, you have, as Nancy discovered, a default. Well, default is the first line of defense. It's what you run every frequency through. Every vibration comes through filters, depending on which filter that your mind tells you it is. Vibrationally tells you the story on the measurement scale, and somewhere in there you'll interpret it as such manners of your truth. The mind only gives it up to you. Most of the time you're in agreement with the mind. Your life is mediocre and it cycles, perfect. But now that you're no longer the default, you're becoming aligned with the natural. And the default becomes very painful, misrepresented, vibrationally flowing naturally back and forth through you and all of creation. All that is now flowing without hindrance, without baffles, guides, structures, strictures. And it's immense. It is so large, it scares you because you're returning to your isness. And you're starting to let go of things, not only physical things, but imaged, emotional content that gave you valid truths. And you react in a defensive way a lot of the times. You get scared to not have your name put out there. And you get scared to have your name put out there, depending on who you are today in that now. But if it's exciting either way, and you want to be more pain, then choose. And if you want to be more free through pain, then choose. See, it doesn't matter to anyone, only to you. You can misrepresent yourself that people actually care about you. And they may perform in the mannerisms of a vibrational match that seems that they do. But they don't, because they're not human. They're gods. Keep that in mind. You can validate a structure of a belief system that is truth. Separation creates truth of covets, period. So the astounding reflection you receive is that's their truth. And that's the way you claim it. But it's not. It's their own definition of truth through the covets that they know no better, as well as you. So someone needs to represent the misrepresentation aligned through its own truth, its own validity. There is no soul. No one who came and made you before you and then assigned you to a soul. Souls don't have personas. They're not their own truth. You are. You're God here. So look at things in your life that keep you in a certain mannerisms. If it's action to prevent, well, you know. What are you preventing? Your history. That's what you're trying to prevent. The perils of your history. Whatever someone told you that you accepted as a truth, as a possibility that happened through the constructs of bad, evil, fearful, scary, mistakes, failures, you prevent. The student decided, Roxy, you need to prevent my future from becoming bad and remove my name. Roxy said, no. Either you get none or you get all. Roxy should accept in some people's mind. Just take her off the list and send it to her separately. That's effort. Roxy's not going to lift another fucking finger to convenience someone's lack, is she? Why would she do that to herself? Why would she validate someone else's pain through her? This is not a power game. This is a God remembered. All of you coming into your own. You've heard that term. You've heard that saying. Coming into your own is your own isness. Going home. Knowing that every single vibrational ounce of reflection unto you is your creation. And there's nothing to fear from God. You have the ability to create fear through a blind eye, and now you have an ability to remember yourself as that unconditional creator that created its own fears for an experience immeasurable. Sums it up quite simply. Not much more to say, is there? Your awareness becomes more and more constant. The vibration grows sickening to keep yourself afraid. It would be considered almost idiotic to do things that you did naturally a few years ago. thinking, of course I have to do this. And now you're like, there's no way I would do that to myself anymore. These are truths. These are alignments with your natural. And when you align naturally to yourself, everyone that comes into you is speaking a beautiful signature of truth, and you allow that truth to come in unbaffled, unfiltered. And then you see something magnificent. It was the day. It was the Belmont Stakes. No one knew, but everyone felt they were about to see something absolutely historical. And Secretariat took the track. That's what you're feeling when you allow someone to come in. You know it's a moment that is beyond measure, can never be confined to words. To define itself would to dishonor the moment of your own potential, your own worth. You're not dishonoring that. You're dishonoring your truth to see what you are capable of creating, experiencing. Because you have to listen to time. The default has more power. The compassion and sympathy and fears that riddled your timelines keep you firmly in place to see yourself lowly and the world outside authoritative. The natural process cannot be stopped. You guys know too much. Not in definable magic, not in things that could be explained, not a syllabus of corrective measures for others to follow. You've played those trumpets loudly for years upon years, decades, centuries, millenniums, eons. And it doesn't work as far as remembering. It works in repeating. The knowledge we're talking about, what you know, is feeling. Connection to a self that says, why would I dare stifle my future with preventative measures based upon fears? And the truth is that you're afraid. You're afraid of the fear that was taught. Yet every day you experience your beautiful life. The perils of tomorrow have never arrived. The now moment is perfect, explicit, and it's natural. And all you're doing is letting it in. No longer filtering and defending, pushing things away, putting up defenses against your own brothers because they might hurt you, not allowing yourself to fall in love, still running around worrying about your goddamn money, thinking about your life and how you're supposed to make more money and then getting mad at it over and over and over again. All you have to do is don't worry about it. When it comes, you know what to do. You just don't. The maddening cycle is kept alive by you, nobody else. Nobody else keeps your reality there. No one can shove anything into your face and say, you need to do this. Impossible. Consider yourself today vibration, feeling, not imagery, beautiful boyfriends and girlfriends, bank accounts of hefty securities of the future, family, well bred and well educated, These are wonderful experiences for the self of preservation. But you are birthing a new self. The byproduct shall be species galore. But we're not concerned with the focus. We're not concerned with intention to figure something out, are we? This is the natural standby. This is the natural that occurs as you wake up. It's a simple discovery. It's a simple remembrance of worthiness returned. It has nothing to do with where you're living, what decisions you're supposed to be making to give yourself a better life, where you're supposed to be going and not going anymore. Those are all time things. The now tells you the truth beyond measure, beyond words. It is so sitting perfectly within you. This truth, this intuit that says, oh, I know what to do. And that do is now. That be is now. The action, the passion is now. It has no time. There's no reason to label anything anymore. See, you're so used to doing a certain action on a daily basis, you don't know what else is possible to experience. But until you stop the action of cycles, then you can't know what else can come because your focus creates and destroys reality. Not me. You. You want to create more money, or you're just creating lack. You can go back to sleep, maybe take a sleeping pill or two, go back deeper into the dream and go get a higher paying job, go get an education. Stop being such a dick. Stop being such an asshole to people. Stop being funny like you're a fucking teenager all your goddamn life. Start acting grown up and responsible, and then people will love you and they'll pay you. They'll pay you if you are that image, but you'll hate yourself. You will. Because the more and more you choose image, the stronger it becomes as something disdained in such an orderly fashion. It's so perfectly aligned in that world of distaste. Truly. So you might as well stop being what you've been. Let someone else into your world. Vibrations, interactions, people, species, galore. Other interactions beyond humanity. Impossible. If you keep focusing on what you know, keep validating your fears, your time to think of what you're supposed to do to make your life better. When you're doing that your whole life, and your life got better magically when you stopped giving a shit and just did it. Then it becomes too great. You got to hold on to it and say, wait a minute, I can't let this go. And you choke yourself out again. You want to know who you are. Well, you're not a who. You want to know what you are. It's beyond words. You got to trust and let go of everything that you've been and continue to be the I am, and leave it to the moment to move yourself. Don't leave it to time. Time will keep you the same. You are well versed in times, the keepers. You're well versed in the capsules of time vibration. and you open them up and dawn that vibration, and your world stays the same, and you're stunned why things aren't changing. Shocked. You got to stop your same bullshit. Even if it makes you laugh, it makes you happy. That's a temporary crisis of escapism. That's all it is. It's a drug so you can smooth things over with your own self trying to wake up, saying, bitch, shut up. Let's listen for the first time. Let's stop thinking. Let's stop being the same thing over and over again. And then we go home and we sit down and we feel the same. I'm tired of the same. Let's me and you be something different today. Let's live the truth to allow others to be that to me. And never give them what they want. Never give them what they need. Give them what they are. Right? So these mass representations that are amassed in the psyche of time are interchangeable and definable labels, but the vibration is constant. The frequency change of humanity hasn't been moving much if you're going to measure it. Let's say from here to here. And in between that, almost 18 billion years, right? It's the same dance. You're just changing. You're changing the label. Roxy has ads on her YouTube. She sees the same things on her ads. The same thing she saw in the 80s. Tired of working? Want to be your own boss? I'll show you how you can be a millionaire. I'll show you how that. As if that's peace. As if that is serenity. And the asleep go to it because it is truth to the mind of separation, validated in the course of time. It's not money that they seek, it's lack. That's what they want. Otherwise, they wouldn't be seeking what they already are, abundant. Nothing is ever good enough, creates lack. And if you follow something that improves you, you stay. You know that. Evolution is natural. There's no cognitive way to improve all that is. All that is built in is always better, but not measured, not comparable. Exquisitely a new dynamic, vibrational, intense experience, full of life, perfect in the moment, diminished by beliefs, time, constructs, edged, saying no, yes. And you guys now realize you don't have to do those things anymore. And you reveal to yourself how strong the belief systems of your own prison have kept you. How truthful truth creates realities. But you don't have to do that anymore. I doubt you can ever go back to sleep. I think you're ready to just stop. The alignment of humanity has moved more than it ever has in the past 10 years than any other time in history. Even in the last 200 of years of your industrial, You are full of ego. That's all. Look what man can do. Go to the moon. Okay. But this last 10 years, you've started falling in love with yourselves. Started in love with the individual singularity expressing itself in truth. Many of the expressions were just protests. And then your labeled expression was the same vibration. You need to treat and respect me because I am this image. I am that image. You are not imaged. You are imagined. I'm wondering if your imagination is filtered to keep the image in accord with everyone else's perfect. I would imagine that would be a very tough life to live, constantly changing your image to fit the moment so you're not shunned in your own prowess. I think it's okay for you guys to just stop. Don't worry about what you're saying or doing any longer. Don't worry about where you're expressing. Don't worry about where you're going or how you're going to get there. Get out of time. Many of you have had money problems, but yet you're still here. Money seems to come in here and there. So many millionaires are millionaires because they have $1 million. All of you are millionaires over time. Each and every one of you spent over $1 million and more. But since you don't have it for time's sakes, you call yourself poor. But yet the moment you are abundant, you need to deal with that, Colton. You're very angry because you're a failure. You need to accept that you suck, that you're no good at making money and no good at pleasing people, and no good at doing anything to gain your own worthiness through your comedy, through your judgments, through your ridicules, through your fights, through your ego. You're the same fucking piece of shit no matter how you decorate yourself. And if you can become that absolute worthless, you're going to feel something that you can't find in a bank account full of zeros. You can't find in a job of pride and success. You can't find putting your love in another person as a dependency that you cannot find in the rhetorics of humanity's acceptance. No, no, no. See, you'll find something that is beyond measure. It scares you. I know it does. And I love that. Because that means you're cusped right on the edge of becoming. Naturally, with the moment, no help from you, no hindrance from anybody. Naturally remembering I am. Discovering this new self realized from its own point of origin as a human to remember its God and become this own expression that is beyond measure, as all of creation does. To sit yourself neatly in the gestalt of all that is, yet being the one. We would say you are there, but I can't make you accept that. And I can't tell you what it looks like. I can't tell you what's there. I can't tell you how it's defined. Because you're the vibration match of you. But we have shown you that you know who you are, and you're afraid to be that self. You're afraid to accept it. You're afraid that things might crumble in your life. You're embarrassed that you've made mistakes still. But what you are is God. And that's enough. Jennifer, you had a question for Roxy about something. Do you feel like asking it this evening? Or is she sleeping? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I didn't hear what you were asking.
Did you have a question earlier for Roxanne earlier?
Um, you know what? I can't put it into words. It has to do with the circle of now. I don't know the words to put to it.
Well, let's say the circle of now is a bubble, as you have seen that. And in time, you pop the bubbles in the now. But see, you also create the bubbles in time. So which bubble will you pop? The bubble of time and the bubble of now. And when that bubble pops, when you are in the now, each round, perfect, absolutely perfection soap bubble, as Prout called it, perfectly round, knowing itself and all dynamics, cannot be without 1 ounce of itself to create that perfect unum, pops with your view. And it showers down upon you and gives you the now. And you take in what you can. Truly, you take in on all of it vibrationally. But the mind separates things. The more asleep you are, the less you get. The more awake you are, the more you get. Sometimes it's taxing and overwhelming to you because you start to feel beyond the views. You feel the class as you did yesterday. Now you feel the now. And you don't have to label it that you have telepathic skills. You don't have to label it that you know this person's going to say that or you knew. You have to go ahead and just be it. Because it is your bubble exploded into the now so you may rain on your own parade and fill it with a newness untethered. But if you bring the bubble of time in and you shower it in there and you pick and choose what is truth, each person is alive and you shift from the whole to the fractal in a moment's notice, billions of times a day. Some moments you are in total perfection, harmony with yourself, your natural, not forgotten. And when you think, you bubble yourself to time. When you recall, when you explain. But these are habits, and they're not scary, and they're not wrong. They're not even misaligned. They're truth. But truths are changeable when noticed, understood, heartfully, instead of mindfully, of logic. And then those truths diminish through the coalescence, often painful, through the transcendence, often glorious, tearful, joyous. But you have to be the now and get on with it. Keep rocking. Never falter because you realized you're awesome. Because every time you stop and talk about it, relay the ideas of it, confine it to words so it can be presented as work, then you know you're stifling your awesomeness. You're diminishing it through time. We feel alive. We don't think alive. Okay? We understand your question. We feel this is an offering for you to transcend. Does
Thank-
this offer?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. We have more, so much more to tell you. But we're not going to busy ourselves with histories and things of time bubbles. We will elicit the now and allow it to flow through and give you vibrations that work on you all day long. You can feel yourself grinding away with no effort. The churnings of your own body, your light shifting, physical attributes birthing the movement itself. And all you have to do is nothing. You keep choosing your beauty, and you shall come home. I believe this is all we have for this evening. There is no measurement, save that of your own. I can ask. It's a small class tonight. Is there any question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something in regards to like the whole money thing. I know I just get fucking frustrated because I know in the now everything's fine, and at the end of the month when bills are due and rents, I always somehow come up with the money, but I'm just sick and fucking tired of like not
You
being
can,
able to realize that in the moment.
but you can.
And
I
I
mean,
do, but then I fucking like for some
shh,
reason.
look at your anger. For some reason, it's because it's your truth more than the truth of allowance. Because you really want to be something with money. That's how you'll define your image. That's how you relate to reality as the rescue of Colton, who has failed everyone else around them. Failed the family, failed Bianca, failed all the loves of your life because you didn't have enough success wrapped up in your way to prove success was money. Others, it's owning a business, a great career, anything that's imaged. When you have that in you, that's why it's such a fucking nasty tiger for you. And you've been fighting this fucking bitch for a while. But don't get sick of it. When you get sick of it, accept you're getting sick of it. When you're upset, please be upset. Don't hold yourself back. Don't do it to yourself. Be the pain, be the rage, be the anger. I mean, to no end. Just really get it out and know that's the pain you are transcending. Letting it pass through you so you don't have to do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. You got to become that fucking pain by accepting I am not good at making money. Money does not define people, but you believe it does. That was taught through your covets, your environment, your structure of family, friends, and authorities that you placed the idea of authority into. By, of course, Nancy's new word for the evening, uh, by default. So you don't need to forgive yourself for coming to Earth. That would be foolish. What you need to do is accept yourself as a master coming to earth, being a human, to feel the rage and the pain and the angst, to be frustrated and failed, to really hate yourself and then target others and put your bullets into them because you just can't suck it up yourself. Or you can, because there's nothing that you have created that you cannot endure. Because it is yours, as intimate as everything has always been. You accept the good parts of you. You accept your good looks and your funniness. You accept the accomplishment of a beautiful woman that loves you. That took you a little time. She tried to destroy in many ways, but she persisted in loving you meekly. And you said, okay, what the hell? I might as well love her. So you don't pass those portions of realities through filters. You accept them. But other portions that sting you because they're history, they're time-based beliefs that you drag into the now. Every single time you validate you are poor, you don't have enough, the end of the month, the now speaks the now. All of your bills will be paid. What happens if they're not? Let's talk about that scenario that your mind goes to. It's amazing how much time you can actually come up with when you don't pay your bill to pay your bill. Maybe it never comes up and your bill's paid. That's happened 3 times with Roxy's Ascension. But she knows she didn't pay the bill, yet she received a receipt. All she did was shift timelines where she did pay the bill, but she doesn't remember paying the bill because she's more conscious of accepting herself as God so she can see how awesome she is and how malleable this holodeck is according to the writer. But the writer can't write lack. The writer's got to write worthiness. And worthiness discovered is through allowance. So you may expose your lack as your money perils have been exposed. See, now you love your money, accept your money. You deserve money. Money is not dirty. It doesn't cause wars or pain. It doesn't make people evil. Money is an ice cream, a rainbow, an earthworm, a fishing hook. Money is, and that's it. So you need to accept your relationship with money as horrific. And then go to the mirror and say, you know what, I deserve to have money. But not the millionaire money I talked about. Not the millionaire money that sits in the account and always looks back and go, I'm a millionaire. So today I'm safe and secure because I have millions. Yet I will not spend and give my life that of what I deserve. I deserve to be a millionaire, but I don't deserve to partake in the millions. Oh, to a point you would use once you get it out of your system and you get your houses and your cars and your things, you're going to come back to a self of exactly who you have always been. The relationship of that. You've just changed the focus. Once the money is made, you'll take that lack and you'll target something else. Because see, that's how you exist with reality. We're showing you how to exist with yourself, my friend. And then you create reality through that truth, not the truth of reality placed before you as the soul was before the awareness. Oh, no, 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 no. Let's not do that to ourselves anymore, Colton. You're allowed to have money. Time is going to kick your ass because it's not going to happen fast enough for your big dick ego. It's not. And you're going to have to swallow it and let it be painful and be frustrated and be that arrogant dick to yourself and say, wow, what an asshole I am about money. Fuck me running. And you got to become that personal self intimately, honestly, and accept every single ounce that Colton is no good at money. And then you're going to feel different. And that's the feeling that can't be described. That's the feeling that can't be labeled. That's this isness that whispers in your ear, relax. You let me in. Now we can play. So you know what to do now. You do. Colton, you're not a human. You're a god. And I'm not going to take you kicking and screaming. I'm going to give you what you are in reflection. And then you and your beautiful self, no matter what you choose, get to. So have fun. I believe that's all we have. Now that Colton has cleared his air. Very good. From the Forgotten Gods Collective, we bid you a good evening. We shall see you in the tomorrow. Roxy says, reminder, no class in the morning. Oh, God, they're so big. Hi, everyone. That was a little shorter. Everyone good?
Yeah. You?
Rose? Hi. Good? Okay.
Damn, Shagufta, you get around. One
I
time
know.
I remember seeing you in Louisiana. Now she's in fucking California. You go, girl.
He's a box raper.
She's
That's
just
awesome.
hopping boxes. Brent, you're going to be there in August, right?
Too, and you're welcome.
Yeah, Brent's coming to visit my box, but I don't know if I will be in another box at that time.
Might be in
Yeah.
my box.
There's a box in Geneva that interests me. So okay, this is weird. I'm not talking about boxes anymore.
Boxes have a new meaning altogether.
Jennifer, you're gonna be in the pouch of your kangaroo Nick pretty soon.
Oh my God, why did you say that?
Because he's an Aussie.
No, yeah. Did I say that he was Australian?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot.
He's from down under. Hello.
Okay, that's British, but
I know. Anyways, all right, let's go. Let's go play. Love you guys.
I need to call you, Rox, about something.
Okay. We'll see you all tomorrow night. Thanks for joining in. Thank you, Tom. Thanks, Brent. Bye, Colton. Love you, Rose. See you, Nancy. Bye, Jean. Take care, Katie. Bye, Sue. And of course, Svetlana, I love you, doll. Good night, all. Bye.
You're just
We let Roxy name us. We are, as you, just a bunch of friends, a collective. Truly aspects of you, more intimate than you can imagine. Speaking as one, a collective to ourselves in time. Giving us a mass psyche dream to wake up from the dream. An exponential journey of the heart and the mind. Together, bonded by the idea of one conforming ideology, separation. To know ourselves not. Sharing our loves about this journey together. Sharing our ideas of expansion, interaction. So let us not bother today with the things that keep you dark and contorted. You have enough reverence today to know how to move yourself away from your daily routines of lack. The words you use as spoken today has become a focus in your mind to be a little bit more conscious about the words spoken that define limitations and habits that keep the gestalt of the will firmly in place of separation. Today we journey together in the mind deeper as the Forgotten Gods Collective. Roxy enjoyed the name because she understood it's just us together, beyond human, beyond Divinicus, beyond separated to whole. See, consciousness has no bounds. It uses its own glory in whatever remembrance is one take, as well as the unknown, and influences upon the unknown, your own truth bending the light the way you are, and the influences of your truth from the gestalt of your time experience. Time doesn't exist until you validate it. But let me ask you a question. You do consume, don't you? You have experience. You must be growing, evolving. How can that be if there is no time, if everything is now? You don't reset every moment, do you? So that offers controversy in this wonderful little mind. There has to be a starting point of yourself of evolution. Well, how about this? You're the starting point today. The only way you know existence is through you. Your time here on earth. That's the only way you know it in determining factors. Your experience, your memory. This self of yours that you're experiencing today only knows a start point. It's not certain. It has intuits. It has vibrational remembrances here and there about oddities. Maybe other lives. Svetlana's good at feeling those little tappings carried over as Nanette does as well, spilling into the conscience of the fractal now. We understand they're all going on now, but there must be some kind of consoling, a get-together of the selves to understand how to bend the light that is now aforementioned unknown. You must have certain influences relating to the self-birthed. Beyond personality, personality cuts and defines certains in personality, the way you're supposed to do it. The persona uses its truth to do it its own way, make up its own rules and regulations, make up its own ideas of what's going on, as it has always been, right? This is the mind we want to travel together this evening. We don't want to use the common sense. We're more so, better so, on a playground. A couple of you maybe have G.I. Joes and a little shovel. A couple of Barbie dolls for a couple of other you. Sandbox. Let's play together. Our forgotten selves. This little group that we are today, together, creating an idea, want to journey in your imagination as well. We're here knowing us as you there. And you there know me and us here. But to the logical mind, it doesn't really matter, does it? Doesn't make sense. It's not quite tangible. It seems mysterious. But yet the connection, feeling, intuition stretching through the nows to know a little bit more about that statement doesn't quite fit in the mysteries of logic. Can't quite find the right label of what that means. We know each other differently and the same, individually and wholesome. So let's speak of this evolution. The self you are that now just knows itself as one point of view of existence. Lynette, Jamie, Dawn, Millie, which is Dana for you guys that don't know her nickname. Svetlana and Jennifer, of course Rose and Michael, not present right now, but present here. Brent and Colton. This grouping, these ideas. Let's look at that personality birthed, starting to build its own explanation of creation, defining it through its own covets. Then its own master self-realizing covet has changed its truths, returning to the persona, the one that exists without edges, stapled in time as bumpers to keep you on track. Not anymore. No. So what builds this persona in evolution? Will there be a time when you remember who I am, what portion of the class that I am? We are a grouping, speaking as one, but me, the speaker right now, is one of you, hinted. A familiarity, a little bit of a slant on things, my own little flair. See, that is me evolving, speaking, and you know it. But you also know you. And that's where we want to play tonight. We're not too interested in labeling, are we? Because labeling closes down imagination. It puts a bow on it, neatly tied, to be placed in time. As something to come back and look at and admire. Look at my decoration. We don't need to do that tonight, do we? But let's dive into this persona that is now just you. Tom arrives on Earth. He only knows creation this way. From now on, Tom only knows himself this way. This is a built-in construct of Tom. Tom is now his own persona. Where is Tom the whole in the picture? If Tom is part of this experience, only knowing creation from his aspect of the lifetime lived here on earth, even opening himself up to the remembrances of other lifetimes, the mysteries of the class, undoing his idea limitations on how to think, allowing himself to be more free, even all of that in place, he still knows himself only one way, Tom. So where's the whole Tom fit in? Tom can't erase anymore, can he? Because Tom knows. Jennifer knows. Jean knows. Jean. Not the image anymore. The experience. The persona birthing. An evolutionary part of creation that has its individual point of view, moving through creation, starting out in time as a human. That's how you know yourselves, isn't it? So now you have the rest of eternity to know yourself this way. I'm wondering if you are feeling missing knowing yourself that way. Will you ever fully know the whole of you? Well, no. You'll never know and always know forever. It is a conundrum. It is something to debate with the logical mind. But let's look at this. Let's look at times. I'm now with you. You have memories that are now as well, right? You have memories that are changed. You remember things different. Why is that? Because this new self that validates its trueness creates vibration. And what does vibration create? Details. The memory has always been created in the moment. It's always part of the vibrational match of the now. So one time you had this past, and now you have this past. Because your relationship is different. So how do you know who you are? It can't be based off the past any longer, can it? If you validate vibration, if you validate that idea, and the details birth from the truth of vibration, the match around you, the frequency details, then it might be plausible for you to accept that the memory would change as well. So I'm wondering if you rely on your memory to keep yourself known, to keep yourself defined. Or now have you shifted to the emptiness, to the no labels, to feeling alive again? You're never going to know who you are. You're going to remember portions of yourself as you journey from this point of view. You're not going to come to a point and know yourself wholly as before you journeyed, because you cannot forget this, because this is not memories any longer. This is a personality destroyed and persona birthed. This is a new point of view that exists in the now, has no time bounded, to know thyself from a beginning and an end, but it knows itself as the experience. It knows itself moving, naked, vulnerable, scared, but seeing the solidity of its own creation every day, feeling its existence, shepherding its own self through compassion, through sympathy, through envy, to gain its foothold on its shaky legs of a birthed existence, a new point of view that does not know itself except as this today. But the memories do not define you, because they're redefined as you remember. Scary. unstable realities now, isn't it? No more castings. Casting out your hooks to tether the chains to a solid reality of comfort and security. Those days are gone for all of you. You live the whim of a birthed existence, a new point of view of not knowing. We suppose things, don't we? So we're going to suppose something with ourselves, you, today. We firstly come from an approach of no other place you have met us in the past. We are new to, but we are the same familiar. So this new personality, this new self, Roy, Roxy, Tommy Dreen, Colton, Brent, this new self is gaining its understanding of evolution. But it's not in class. Evolving itself with a constitution of measurement. It is the experience of a new point of view. It knows all of its other lives, all of its other selves, because the access you have to your gestalt is never and cannot be hindered by one iota of a shading. There is no separation between you and you. Now that you know who and what you are. So you have an eternity, a millenniums, infinities of experience that is your fertile ground to take root in and birth out this point of view. You know yourselves here. It's the one that is tired of being a wreck. As Jamie said, tired of working. Tired of that maddening cycle. Tired of hope. Tired of making yourself available as a commodity. So you know the renderings, your own drawings of personalities you built. I need to make money. I need to be a good lover. I need to bend my truth to meet my emptiness with objects. You know your landscape, the story you have written, because it is yours. Your mind has denied these things because of, well, criticisms. Oh, let's just say things that hurt. So you avoid these things and you don't measure yourself in truth. You do it in distant covets. And when you find the dark side within you, you excuse yourself from that journey and return to the good side in hopes of it just going away. But Jamie doesn't be those things because she found She found not even permission anymore, is it? I don't think so. It's not permission. It's a foundation, maybe, huh? An underlying feeling that Charmaine can be in California because she wants to be. And Jamie can leave her job if she wants to. Maybe it's that you pull from, which is existence. A birthing awareness. So you consider yourself young, the years you spent circling the sun. That's why you call yourself your value of experience. But you have, and always shall have, the gestalt of you at your beck and call. Your persona. It's never denied on earth, is it? Isn't humans the most dynamic, outrageous species you've ever seen? The ability for them to go in the range of exploration of their own self in one moment's notice is absolutely untethered, bounded, exquisite, a sight to see. That doesn't come from personality. That comes from worth. That comes from inside. To the cheating husband or the cheating wife, that's not personality. That's truth. To the one that chooses its own unworthiness, to prove to itself it has the capability of being unworthy. Is that a personality? Or is that a persona? It would have to be, for me, a persona. To not fear its journey, no matter what the vibration offers. It takes its own experience as a pool of freedom to understand itself one more time. Who's on? And was everybody off now? We had a break. We're going to return. Greetings, Carl. We like your haircut. This personality is claimed in time, but the persona that creates the behavior in the moment has a source. Carl's haircut. Timely, Carl. Timely. See, that movement of expression is not attained through lack of individual acceptance any longer. This is a self discovered, not a self continued to be labeled, not the mind continuing to label shit and try to define it and coming up with new things to talk about. Not that mind. The mind that blitzes itself and does something and moves the fuck on. Because it's ready for the next unknown. The remembered part is not you being a god in some fashion of exploration to attain. It's remembering how you interact with creation. That's the God you're seeking. Your truth that you have always been. It is present in this new self, the self that knows itself from a birthing time, claimed on a certificate. But now the depths of your trust in you have seeded the remembrances of your original God, birthing up through you, feeding the roots, the persona becoming again, the way it bends its own light without hesitation, without worry, without, is this the right move? What happens if I do that? What does that mean? See, those are personalities. And you have those. You have those to rely on. In common sense, it would seem that death would return you to the whole. That's the story that's been told. And it does. So what happens to you when you die? Well, the personality goes away, doesn't it? The limits are no longer valued because there's no imagery in the whole, because you are imagined again, right? You are creating your imagination and you interact it without constructs of structure and stricture, personality. So is there a compassion for the lost God remembered? Does it hang in a closet as an experience of time? Your little flesh suit you donned, hanging as an outfit, as something to remember on a mantle. No, it's not like that. But there is a suppose again. What happens if you don't die? Well, you know you don't. Even if you have a physical death, do you truly die? Or do others see you die? Because that's the only way they can translate your disappearance, your vibrational shift. So many possibilities on what can really happen, isn't there? But these aren't concerns for you. They're concerns for the personality, for the ego, because it wants to know so it can give others answers and be proud. But see, these ideas are time and what's and what abouts. But see, the persona has no care for time, no concern for what are going to happen. It only is what is happening. Because those vibrations of the isness validated create the memories, create the potentials, create the futures and the pasts, always. The isness is its own mechanism that is birthing in all degrees. We know 360 is your bubble, but ours is 365. You'll understand those 5 degrees when you remember more of you. But every direction, you're birthing your truth, and you're looking at them all from points of view, and you're touching all of these selves. And these selves are becoming alive with your energy, your focus, your truth. And this self here is new, and it is afraid to die. It is afraid to not know because it experienced it. It experienced itself as not knowing. You're always the razor edge of unknown into known, and that is your absolute awareness. But this beautiful fractal didn't know itself for that razor edge split now. Poof. An instant it did not know it is reflecting. And out comes a new point of view. A new way to evolve its own self. You don't die anybody and everybody. Do you hear me? Your death is for others. It's the way their vibration creates a reality. That's all. Know yourself no longer in death remembered. Let humanity die all they want. You are no longer human. This I can tell you. Humanity, as all creation, is relationship, is your flair. It's the way you've chosen the playground to be. You color the sand. You build the edges of the playground, the sandbox. You place your own swings, merry-go-round, monkey bars. Matters not. You've set it all up for you. And you're playing your song today. This truth that you're remembering, as you can see, is not identity, not personality. The God you're looking for is truth. The access to that has always been there and is the same as the God you seek. Truth. Yourself remembered. You have gained awareness of the fractal. That was your chosen truth. That forgotten God now understands itself from a point of view of something familiar, a foundation of its infinity self. trust when there's no reason to. Intuition when logic says no. See, that's what you've accessed. And you're not going to do anything with this personality anymore, are you? I think now you are okay being your persona, your truth. Oh, you can have reactions. You can get together and talk about it through the constructs of communication that you're very good at doing. But see, even when you do those participations of personality, you can no longer deny the truth that's standing just off and going, whenever you're done, I'll be here. And you just look at you and put down the idea of the personality. And you behave in a mannerism of unconditional. Don't worry about scaring yourself anymore. You don't have to be afraid. A lot of you have been afraid since you joined the class. You still validate your fears, your ideas of abundance and money and food and shelter and purpose and meaning and love. Your human things. The things that are no longer valid with a deeper sense, a new self birthed. The personality is a construct. It was a defensive mechanism. It was a chameleon skin. It was changeable and mutable only to its environment, but never to itself. You're no longer that. You now know that you create the chameleon as a point of view to experience. So today you can move on with us. Forgotten gods. Roxy feels something today, right? It's quite comfortable. It's like a ledger of time discovered. It's her entire infinite self birthing through. She's not afraid. And she doesn't have to slow herself down to know why she's not afraid any longer. Because the persona doesn't label. It is excited as an explorer. It is seething with anticipation held back by a personality to experience the next gestalt of the unknown it knows itself as. It's okay to let go and be your natural, returned. You're going to piss a lot of people off. You're going to have not too many people want to play with you anymore. You got to stop running around looking for people to share with, because you have entire creation that is filling your heart, and you have an infinite amount of sharing to catch up on. So sink yourself into your personality. Shed it to know your truth. And that expression, oh, it will attract. Don't worry, you won't be very lonely. But those who understand you as they understand their own light will confide and seek your wisdom. Most, however, will not. It will try to banish you. It will try to fix you. I suppose you can relate this to the Christ conscience journey, can't you? See, the Bible doesn't tell much about its journey, does it? It said that Christ wandered off for some amount of time, then came back. Christ's conscience wasn't becoming some in the desert. But Christ was living to know itself. Everybody's a potential Christ conscience. Everybody. You're silly to think that it's saved for one when all are created equal. You need not take the leadership and seek followers, but the leadership of the self is recommended. And it has no syllabus, no rule book, no guidelines, no procedures. It is feeling that you're returning to. I'd like to know what you're going to become. I am in your journey from you now. Creating a dream together, diving into portions of your history, your remembered selves. Me inviting me in to know me from you. Journey well, everybody. Journey in truth, and you will be well. Journey in hope, and you will be well. But the tug between those two selves, the hope of personality maintained, and the absolute raw fear of a naked self, undefined. I'm wondering what tugs at you today. Follow it. Fear no more. Fear no more. Stand by. And greetings to the classroom. Humanity knows itself in defined ledger. It creases its paper to move itself responsibly through the perils of the unknown It lines itself in solid roads guarded by rails with certain truths cast afore before it takes its own step to know itself. You are no longer human, my friends. You don't have to be if you don't want to any longer. You do not do the things of human personalities any longer if you want to know the truth of you. The God remembered is not a God that sits somewhere over there. The God remember is the way you are naturally. It is feeling. We are awareness. We are not image. We are the way we bend our light with conscience, everlasting, ready to go at a moment's notice. The stability of experience always, bending to the will of you so you may know yourself. You can leave anytime you want. To a personality mind, that means distance. We're talking point of view, feeling, the way you bend your light today. This new remembered self becoming its own way, its own life. Fearless, yet full of fear. Brave, with coward beckoning to return. But I dare say there is no longer the lust of conformity and contrite restrictions. I think today you are new. Journey well, my friends. We shall see you soon.